Just give me a minute. Let me shout out something. Okay, all right. So I want to believe we are good to go. We are happy to be in this session the same way I am. And I want to believe that we have persons here that their energy levels are already very high. They're excited to learn one or two things from today's session and they can't wait to just get into it. Okay, so for today's session, I want to believe plus or minus, we should be here for 1 hour and 30 minutes max, because I know very well that we have a whole lot of things going on from our end. And yeah, we just want to go back to whatever we had to do. But yeah, so if you know that this is the very first time you are joining Amdari's session like this, can you give me a 1 in the chat? If you're a newcomer, we have newcomer packages, right? So if you're a newcomer, this is the first time you're joining Amdari's session, give me a 1 in the chat. If you are an old member, right, just give me a 2 in the chat. Okay, so I see Emmanuel. Emmanuel, welcome. Right, so if you just look at your left, right, you're going to see an usher just standing by there to give you our newcomer package. Please just get it and follow the usher somewhere. Okay, welcome. We have new person. Cindy is also new. Wow, this is awesome. So all our newcomers are welcome. Oh, Shay is not a newcomer. Okay, Shay, so we don't have any package for you. So sorry about that. Right. Okay, so all our newcomers, welcome to Amvari session. Right, I want to believe that our time here is going to be fun. We are going to have a lot to learn. We are going to have a lot to unlearn, and we are going to have a lot to relearn. Okay, so for our newcomers, welcome. All right, so let's just get right into it. Right, and for today's session, I want to believe we are 100% aware why we are here, right? So we want to look at 3 different career paths, right? We have the data analyst, the business analyst, as well as the project managers. So we want to look at these three career paths. What exactly do they do, right? What's the difference between the 3 of them, and what are the skills that you actually need for this particular 3 different career paths? There are 3 awesome career paths. Okay, so let me first ask our persons in the chat. So if you know you are a data analyst or you are interested, okay, in that particular career path, let me see a 1 in the chat, or you can just say DA. So if you're a data analyst or you are interested in that career path, or you are already in the career path, let me see DA on the chat. If you are for business analysis, right, let's just do a BA, right? So DA for data analyst, BA for business analyst. And if you are a project manager or you are looking at being a project manager, just let me see a PM on the chat. So far so good. I just have DAs on the call. What's happening? So let me see. Let's keep it coming. Okay, Andrew is PM. Nice, interesting. Okay, so let's see. I think majority of the persons on the call right now are the DAs. Awesome. Okay, all right. So the 3 career paths are absolutely fantastic, right? So we are just going to look at the 3 of them. What are the differences? Okay, for those persons that don't know, or you are a data analyst, you don't know what business analyst guys do, or PM do, we're going to look at all of it together. Okay, so before we go in, let's just do a brief introduction. Remember, we have newcomers, right? So it's important that you understand what Amdari is actually here for. What is Amdari shooting? What are they actually doing? Okay, so the beautiful thing about Amdari, or should I say the main goal or main essence of Amdari, is actually to bridge the gap between the theoretical things and then practical, right? So we are looking at, I've learned whatever I had to learn, whether I learned it from YouTube, whether I had to enroll for a course, right? And then me having that experience, I need to land my job. So what Amdari is actually looking at is bridging that gap between you having the theoretical learning and the real world experience. We have a lot of persons that go on and do it. Either they do a self-learning piece, or they enroll in a course and then they are done with the learning, but they are lacking one thing, right, which is the experience. And that is why I'm very sad back. I'm like, okay, we have a lot of persons learning, and then they want to get into this eco space, the tech space, and get a job. But one thing is missing, because when they go for an interview, they're telling you, oh, how many years experience do you have? What and what have you done? And then you are like, wow, I literally just finished training, right? So what Amdari is here for is telling you, okay, so you're done with your training, you do not have the experience. Now come to us, let us give you that experience, and then you land that awesome tech job that you are looking out for, right? So Amdari is an innovative platform that is designed to revolutionize how aspiring data professionals build their careers and gain practical experience. Please, guys, underline the word practical experience. That is the main thing Amdari is here for, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, we're bridging that gap between what you learned and then you being able to get that experience. And then we actually give hands-on projects spanning from data analysis program, the data science, data engineering, business analysis, and three different areas in cybersecurity, right? Which is the security and operations center, stroke threat intelligence. We have the GRC. We have the pen testing, right? So those are like three different aspects of cybersecurity. So we actually cover that as well. So this project is actually to help you get the experience that you need. Like I mentioned earlier, the main goal and our mission, our vision in Amdari is actually to revolutionize the way people acquire industry knowledge and experience. So we are like that middleman, right? We're like the middleman in between you learning and you having the experience. Okay, so if you 100% understand what Amdari is doing, can I see a thumbs up? Let me know that I see half person that are with me. You understand 100% what Amdari is actually standing for, right? Let me see a thumbs up. All right, we have reactions. Okay, that means we are good to go. I like the fact that we have intelligent persons on the call. Okay, so you might be wondering who is this person that has been talking for the last 9 minutes. So this is Edidion Emmanuel. So Edidion Emmanuel is actually a seasoned and experienced data professional that has over 5 years of experience in implementing and deploying data analysis and data science innovations, right, across different businesses. Okay, so I'm actually the growth internship specialist here at Amdari, and I have mentored over 1,000 individuals and helped them transition from their tech and securing from having the whole tech knowledge, the skills, into learning their first job. So the main thing that is you learning that your dream job, right? And I've helped over 1,000 persons achieve this particular goal of theirs. Okay, so I will not want to bore us with a whole lot of info about me. So in a nutshell, just know that Edidion is actually a data scientist as well as a data analyst, and she has experiences across different industries, right, from the edtech to supply chain to e-commerce as well as the HR sector. Okay, so I am going to be your humble facilitator, or should I say your humble host for today's session, right? And so we're just going to kick right into it. So what are we here for? What are we going to be discussing in the next let's say the next 1 hour, right? Because we wouldn't want to keep you longer than necessary. Okay, so like I mentioned in the beginning, right, that we have three different career paths we're going to be exploring today, right? So that's the first thing we're going to do, explore the data analysis, the business analysis, as well as the project management career path. So what are their differences? What are the skills that these guys need to have? And then what are those career paths that are involved for them? Okay, then the next thing we're going to look at is becoming a tech professional and securing a job, which is one of the reasons why a lot of us are here. And then we're going to introduce the Amdari Work Experience Internship. Then we have a special offer for you. Okay, so this special offer is only for persons that are going to wait till the end of the session. And then again, please, so that you get the materials for this session, which is the slide as well as the recording, ensure you fill the attendance form that my colleague is dropping on the chat box. Do not miss it. It's 100% important, right? So as you drop it, please fill it up so that we are going to share the materials with you in your email. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so I asked already which of this career path that you're interested in. I saw a lot of persons saying the data analyst role. Some of them are saying business, and I think I didn't really see anybody for business analysis. So let me confirm. Do we have BAs in the house? If you know you are a business analyst, can you drop a BA? Business analyst, drop a BA on the chat. Business analyst, drop a BA. Okay, I think Messi is a BA. Okay, Edet is a BA. Awesome. Okay, so at some point I was scared if we don't have BAs in the house. All right. So let's just keep that. So I know we have three different career paths on this call today. So now let's just brainstorm this together. So imagine that you want to build your dream house, right? You have a picture in my, like this picture you have a dream house in your mind. You've already pictured it in your brain, right? So who are the persons that you are going to be calling, right? Who are those persons that the first set of persons that are going to come to your mind for you to kickstart this building project? Please let me see persons answering in the chat. So you want to build that your awesome house, right? So who are those professionals that you're going to first call, right? So let me see, let's say you bought the land already, right? You bought the land and then you are like, okay, I have a land already, I want to build, I have a dream house picture in my brain. So but how do I bring this to to visual? Who are the persons that you're going to call first? Let me see guys, let's prepare a blueprint. Okay, so we have architect, okay, surveyor, architect, okay. Somebody saying PM, okay. I love this. I have very intelligent persons here. Or a house designed by architect. All right, awesome. I love the fact that I am working with extremely intelligent set of persons. Okay, so to make this a success, so you guys actually got it right. So that's the very first, it's like the very first thing you're going to do. You have a picture in your brain, and there is no how you're just going to move in and start building when you don't have a structure, right? So the first you're going to call is actually the Mr. Architect. Come and help me, I have a picture in my brain, right? So and then this person is not going to be like, okay, so you have a picture in your brain, how do you want it? Do you want it this way? Do you want it that way? How many rooms are we looking at, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm looking at 3 rooms or 4 rooms. The next thing is going to ask you is, okay, do you have any other structure? Have you been going online? Have you seen any nice buildings around? And then you want me to give you. And if you do not, now this person is now going to be the one to give you should I say, a suggestion based off what you have told him, depending on how you want it, right? So that's like the very first set of person that you are going to be in contact with, apart from like, okay, the surveyor that is going to survey the whole building and the whole land and the rest of. Okay, now the next person you're going to be working hand in hand with is going to be the construction manager. So the architect has finished his own job, right? Has given you a picture. I'm like, okay, this is the picture of the house, and then you've agreed to it. The next thing now is like, okay, now let's call the construction manager that is going to look at this picture and give us what we want. They're like, okay, Mr. Man, this is what we want, right? We want you to work hand in hand with those ones that are involved and ensure that we get exactly what is on this picture. And the construction manager is going to be like, okay, so what is your budget, right? You have this building project, what is your budget, right? And then how long do you want us to complete this, right? So you are now going to be the one to tell them, okay, as the owner of the house, mind you, right? You're like, okay, I want this house to be done in less than 6 months. That is if you have the money, right? When money is speaking, even 2 months, you can tell them, oh, I want it in 2 months. Okay, so the construction manager is like, okay, everybody, all hands on deck. This man says he wants his house in 2 months, right? So everybody's just going to be around doing one thing or the other to ensure that that is a success, correct? Now, the next you're going to do, so now you're done with the whole building, right? The finish, and now you're like, okay, the whole place is empty, right? It's just there. The next thing you're going to do is to call your interior designer to like, okay, Mr. Interior Designer, what do you have for us? I know I want, this is the dream house, right? I don't know what I'm going to be putting in. The interior designer is now going to be like, okay, this is the trending stuff, right? I've gone through this based of the designs you have. I feel this thing is going to fit in, right, for this your building because of XYZ. It's going to give you reasons, obviously. Interior designer will bring in a lot of fine pictures and like, okay, based on what has been happening or based on what I've noticed from others, right, this is going to fit perfectly in your house. You go through it, and then again you have your awesome building, right? So now at the end of the day, right, your architect, right, plus the construction manager, which actually ensure that everything was awesome, to your interior designer, which is going to give you that final finishing of your work, right, is now going to equal to what your beautiful house that you actually pictured, right? So now back to the tech world now, right? So the architect is actually a business analyst, right? So now we know very well that Mr. Architect was actually in between asking questions and trying to understand, okay, Mr. Owner of House, How do you want this thing to be? What do you want? So the business analyst here is actually like the, should I say, the middleman between the stakeholders and the technical team. Okay, so the business analyst there is trying to ensure that he finds out what the business owner wants or what the house owner actually needs, right? So Mr. Business Analyst is there to like, okay, what do you want? He gets everything you need and then ensures that he guides you on it. Okay, if this is what you need, fine. But based off my, should I say, my skills, okay, these are the things I expect, or these are the things I know that it's going to work out for you. Now that is down to the house picture that we were talking about, right? So the architect there is like the business analyst. Remember, he's asking your needs just to ensure that he gets it right so that we can have a successful house, or should I say a beautiful house at the end of the day. Okay, so the construction manager is actually like the project manager, ensuring that everything is successful. Okay, from the budget, ensures that we do not do overrun of budget. Okay, let's say we had a budget of maybe 60 million, and then at the end of the day you're coming back to tell us that, oh, XYZ happened and then we ended up spending 70 or let's say 80. That's already, you're already denting your profession, because as a project manager, you have to ensure that you are working with the budget, okay, of the business owners, or for the project as a whole. And another thing there is timeliness. You have to ensure that the timeline that was given for that project is actually met. Very, very, very important, right? So to every project, there is always a timeline. Hence why you are brought in as the project manager to ensure that everything is on point. And then the success of a project or the failure of a project is in the hands of the project manager. So as a project manager, that role is always 100% very, very, very important, because as a project manager, you are the one to ensure that everything is done perfectly well. You are on top of everybody's matter to ensure that they do what they are supposed to do to ensure that the project is a success, right? Just as every normal manager in any workspace, you're managing everything is in your hands, right? So if they have any question to ask, it is you they're asking. What happened here? You are the one answering it. What happened there? Why is this thing not done? You are the one answering it. That is because you are a manager. And for you to be a manager, your people management skill has to be top notch. Okay, so that is that for the construction manager, or should I say the project manager. Okay, now the interior designer here is the data analyst. Okay, where you're going through the different trends. Okay, you're looking at what the past things that has happened. So based off your experience, based off your analysis from what others have done, okay, for the house, you're like, okay, I've seen persons building a very lovely 3-bedroom flat, or should I say 3-bedroom duplex, whatever it is they are building, and then these are the designs, these are the trending designs that they have been doing, and then it works perfectly well. So as the interior designer now, you are the data analyst, bringing in should I say your own recommendations based off what has happened before. Okay, so then when you are done with all of this, okay, bringing in the 3 rows, okay, together, you have that your dream house, which is now the problem solved, right? So you're bringing in the data analyst, which is in between and asking the stakeholders, oh, what do you people want? What is the main issue here? What are we solving? Okay, down to the project manager, ensuring that whatever the stakeholders want actually comes to pass, right? Ensuring that the budget is not overrun, right? And then again, we succeed in that project. Down to the data analyst, going through the previous things that has happened, right, from the past data. Okay, this is what we've been noticing, and then for us to prevent it from happening again, or this is what we should do, advising based off what has happened before. Okay, and putting all this together, you are going to have a problem solved scenario, or problem solved situation at that point. Okay, so now let me come back to you guys. Are we still here? Are we together? Are we together? Are we 100% together? Please, guys, confirm, confirm, confirm. If you actually understand based off the scenario that we've just painted, please. Okay, all right, let's proceed. Let us proceed. So now, like I mentioned earlier, so everyone here has their own unique roles to play. You cannot take off the business analyst, right, from the scenario, because everybody has a unique role to play. You cannot tell a data analyst to go and start acting as a project manager. That means you're bringing chaos. Just like telling an interior designer to go and become a construction manager. Do you know what that is? That is chaos. So everybody has the unique roles to play, right? So now, for for a business analyst, like I mentioned earlier, right, you are listening to what the house owner actually wants, and you create a plan. Okay, so you have listened to what the house owner wants, right? Which is now the stakeholder. So bringing it back to the tech world. So you are listening to the stakeholders, and you are writing down everything they want. Okay, so at that point, there's something business analysts call requirement gathering. Okay, so at that point, that is what you are doing. You are asking questions back to back. You are having a lot of whys. So why do you want this? Why is this happening? Okay, so you document it. You are writing at every point. Okay, because you have to ensure that you get every bit of what the owner wants, every bit of what the business stakeholders want, or what the house owner wants. Okay, in this our context now. So that is the work of a business analyst, right? Now, for the project manager, which is like our construction manager, he ensures that the project, or should I say the house, is built correctly and on time. Okay, so it is the work of the project manager to go around when everybody is doing their work and like, okay, why are you doing this thing this way? I thought based off our plan, we were supposed to do it this way. So you are cross-checking every bit. You are ensuring that that project is a success without any problem at all. And then again, it has to be on time, right? So in project, like I said, we always have timelines. So that is why you are there as the project manager to ensure that everything is done on time, everything is done correctly. Okay, now for the business analyst, which we call the interior designer, right, you analyze the trends and then you advise on making the space better. Okay, so your own part there is to give advice based off what has been happening. Okay, you have experience in terms of, oh, I have seen what has been happening, I have gone through past data, okay, and then I have done my analysis, I have gone through, what actually happened before. So this is my recommendation based off that. Okay, so I want to believe we understand the scenario totally well. So then let me bring in another picture so that we understand better, right? So we actually want to open a new restaurant, right, for this particular company, ShopRite. These guys eat a lot. Okay, so this company, this eatery, they want to actually open up a new branch in a different city because they feel, oh, they've done well, they are growing, let's expand, right? Let's try out, a different location. And now the CEO is like, okay, I want to do this, but obviously, the CEO cannot do this on his own, right? So he has to call in the project team. He has to call in his people to help him out in this particular work. Okay, so for the data analyst, the project manager, the business analyst, so the project manager ensures that everything is done rightly. So we said we want to open this new restaurant in the next 3 months, right? And then we have a budget of $30 million. The project manager will ensure that that project is actually a success within that timeline and we are not running out of budget. Very, very important, right? So the business analyst is going to be working hand in hand with the CEO. Okay, so what exactly do you want? What location are we going to be looking at? Okay, and then he goes out, does his own research, does his market surveys, and then ensures that whatever location that we are picking is the right location. Remember, these guys are working as a team, right? So the business analyst is going to go out, do his own research, okay, do his own competitor analysis and ensure that, okay, do we have any other eatery around this location? Very important. Are we going to be having a lot of competitors around here? What are the things that they are doing that we need to implement that is going to help us out? Okay, and then the data analyst is going to also go out and do his or her own market survey in terms of, oh, what food do people really enjoy eating in this environment? It does that, gets the data set, sit and then analyzes it. So at the end of the day, the data analyst might end up finding out that, oh, people in this region, what they really like eating. So let's say, bring it back to Nigeria. Let's say they are opening a new restaurant in Lagos State. And you know very well that Lagos State is actually, it's very large. We have a lot of Yoruba persons there, right? So what kind of food would these guys really like to eat? So let me ask the house. So if I want to open a restaurant in Lagos State for our Nigerian folks, right? What kind of food do you think that people are going to really patronize? So help us now in our gathering, because now we are doing a survey, right? I am actually the data analyst now. I am carrying out my survey just so that I gather enough data to do my analysis. So please, guys, help a sister. I want to open a restaurant in Lagos State, right? I don't have any location in mind, like I don't have any city or any town in mind, but anyway, in Lagos State. So what kind of food do you think persons are going to really, really, really eat? That I am now going to be like, okay, let me see if I can go back to my company and then tell them XYZ. Please, guys, I'm waiting. African dishes, like what? Which of them, to be precise? I know, yeah, African dishes 100%, but which of them do you think that is going to really sell? Remember now, the end product is so that we make enough sales to make more profit, right? We are not just going to just open anyhow restaurant or just then start selling anything that people will not buy, right? So let me see. I just saw African dish. I just saw the African dish. What's happening, guys? Are we here? Okay, amala with plenty pepper. Nice. I love that. The plenty pepper, very precise. Okay, amala, jollof rice, fried rice. Interesting. Okay, so now, based off the few data that we've just gathered, so I can now go back, do my own analysis. Okay, how many persons mentioned amala? How many persons mentioned jollof rice? So we have two responses, and out of these two responses, we have amala being, like the highest. So I can now go back to the company and like, okay, based off the research or based off the survey we have gathered, these persons in this region like really eating amala. So we've now added that now to our menu that, oh, amala must not miss. So you see the work of a data analyst there now, right? So he has gone to gather data, right? And then do the analysis and the trend and then give recommendations based off what he or she had gathered. Okay, so these three roles are very, very important for every business, for any business, right? Irrespective of whatever domain it is. So you can always find this guy. So a data analyst can work everywhere and anywhere so far as you have data that you're working with. Project manager can work anywhere and everywhere. Same thing with business analyst. So in every business, you must have a business analyst, right? Because these guys are actually problem solvers. That's one thing. Business analysts are problem solvers. So let's just quickly go through the different roles of these guys. So for business analysts, like I mentioned, they are problem solvers. So their own is to identify business opportunities, right? So when you have a business analyst in your in your organization, they are not just necessarily there to just have that stakeholder, communications, or when you have a full-blown project you want to start up, maybe a new project, and then they come in. No, as a business analyst, they are problem solvers. So they are going to go through each of the processes that you have already and then find where to improve it, right? So the first thing that they do, or one of the things they actually do, is stakeholder communication and alignment. These guys are always back to back in communications with the stakeholders. So what do you want? Okay, I have gone through the process. This is what I feel we should do. They are reporting to the stakeholders. So if the stakeholders now give approval to whatever thing that they've recommended, they go on with it, or they move it to the next stage, which is, okay, let's say we actually have a website and then we are working with customers, and these guys have gone through the whole process of our communications with the customers via the application. So let's say we always have maybe slow responses, right, from the workers. Let's say the customer service team. They've done their audit, they've gone through it, and we're like, oh, we are always having slow communication. What is really the problem? They go through it and then come up with a recommendation. Okay, based on what we've noticed, maybe we do not have enough customer service personnel that are helping us out. Can we bring in? Okay, so if the stakeholders agree with it, like, okay, we can play with that. They call the team responsible. Okay, the HR. Okay, based on what we found out, we need XYZ, right? So these guys are always in communication with the stakeholders. They align with the stake. They're always, having back-to-back communications with the stakeholders. Okay, The next thing there is they conduct visibility study and competitor analysis. Just as the scenario of we opening a new restaurant. So they have to go out, okay, make a lot of research. These guys are researchers, right? Because you need enough information before you kickstart anything or before you give any idea. So as a business analyst, you are going to be conducting visibility study as well as competitor analysis. So you have to know, oh, what are the things that other persons are doing? Are we lacking, or is there room for improvement? Should we be doing more based off what these persons are doing? Okay, they are doing well. Okay, there's something they are doing that we are not doing in our company. Can we improve on it? So these guys are always researching back to back. Okay, they are carrying out this analysis to ensure that the business thrives, right? So they are there as problem solvers. Okay, now the next thing that these guys do, they carry out business requirement gathering. Okay, I mentioned this earlier, right? So they have to ask back-to-back questions just to ensure that they get all the answers that they need. Every business analyst must not forget the word why. It is very, very important. So if you're a business analyst, that word why must not leave your mouth, because when you're communicating with stakeholders, it's always very funny because some stakeholders might not 100% know what they want. That's the truth. Okay, so they might be telling you something, and deep down you know that either this person is not saying the right thing or the person is lying to you. So you always have to ask that why. Okay, so they might say, I want people to help us build should I say helicopter, or no, let me say a car. I want you to build a car that can fly. Right, that's what the stakeholder wants. And then you are like, can a car fly? Then you have to ask, because you have to have a reason why you're doing a particular thing, right? And then you as a business analyst, you have to understand these things so that you weigh the pros and cons and know what to advise them. Remember, at that point, you're like an advisor. Okay, so you have to ask them why. Why do you actually want us to build a car that can fly? Okay, so is it going to bring in more income to the company, or what? What exactly is it going to be producing? You have to keep asking why. Okay, so the 5 why analysis, right, is actually something that business analysts always uses as well. Okay, because you have to understand, why are you doing this particular thing? So in that process, you are doing requirement gathering. Okay, so why do you want us to do this? You're writing it down. Okay, and then you keep asking more questions. That way you get clarity on whatever it is, because you are in between persons as a business analyst. You are talking to the stakeholders, getting what they need, and then you are reporting back to, let's say, the technical team, okay, regarding what the stakeholders want. So it is based off the information that you are getting from the stakeholders that you are passing down to the other team for them to work. So if you miss any detail, you have actually thwarted the whole process. Okay, so it's very, very important that every business analyst knows how to do requirement gathering. In most of the cases, right, as a business analyst, this is like one of the hardest things to do, because you are working with stakeholders, like, and then most times you might you might be working with somebody that is very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Stakeholders can be very difficult, right? So you being able to understand them and then know the right questions to ask, and then know the right information that you're getting from this person is always very, very, very important, right? And then the next thing you're going to be doing as a business analyst, you do process modeling and gap analysis, right? So the whole thing around process modeling and gap analysis is from your business requirements, right? So if you failed in that part, then you are going to have a problem when it comes to you doing the modeling and the gap analysis, because there's something in business analysis that they call the as is and then to be. It is in that requirement gathering that you're going to understand how the process of the business is currently. That is the as is, right? So what is happening? What are you people doing now? Let's say, okay, how is the hiring process? So let me take, for instance, right, you're having issues with the HR aspect of things in the business. So for you to understand the way the process is, you have to go and ask questions. Okay, so how is the whole process like? Right? So you're going to ask the question, and then whatever answers they're giving you, you are writing it down. Because in your process, the process modeling now, you have to start from the as is. right? How is it? You now model it. Okay, everything is done manually. The HR sends out it sends out adverts online. People register. They go through the CVs that they have gotten. All those long processes, right? And now that is the as is. Now to be now is where you are going to be bringing in your own initiative based off what the stakeholders told you that they want, right? So they told you, oh, we want to automate the whole hiring process. We are tired of doing it manually, right? And then you have listened to the stakeholder. You have gone through the whole process of this is how it is done currently. You map out your as is. This is how it is, right? And the next thing you're doing is the to be, how we want the whole process to be. It is what you have worked on, the to be process mapping, right, that you have done, that the technical team are going to now fly with. So it is important that you get every step of what is expected from you as a business analyst, so that the whole process is not thwarted, right? So business process modeling and gap analysis is all about you understanding, okay, what were they doing before, how is the next thing that we are going to do, what is that the next thing, what's the result, what is the picture. Okay, so there's a picture that you're supposed to bring here, right? Because you are the only person that has it in your brain. So for you to be able to translate it to others, you have to map it out, right? And we have different tools as business analysts, right, that they actually use for things like this. Many persons use Dreader.io to just give a chart of, okay, this is the flow, how it's going to be like, okay, when we are automating the whole process. Okay, so I have been talking for a long time now, so let me ask, guys, do we follow? Do we understand what a business analyst does in a nutshell, right? In a nutshell, do we understand? Do we understand? Do we understand? Do we copy? Everybody's just so quiet. Okay, so do we copy? Please let me get a reaction. Let me just get a thumbs up. Yeah, I just need a thumbs up so that we can actually proceed. I understand what a business analyst does or what is expected of these guys. Okay, all right, so we can actually proceed to the next. Okay, so for the data analyst, so what does a data analyst do, or what are the main things that they are doing? Okay, so these guys, first thing first, they have to gather the data, or should I say they collect the data wherever it is being stored, right? There's actually a flow where the data engineering guys get the data and then they put it in, either they put it in a warehouse, right, or they just store it in a place that is accessible for the next team to work with. Okay, so for the data analyst, they are going to get this data wherever it is stored, whether it is just stored in a spreadsheet or whether it is stored in a data warehouse, wherever it is. They are going to get this data set, and the next thing they're going to do is to analyze it and report. So as a data analyst, right, what you're doing is you're picking up data set of what has happened before, because you want to understand. Let's say they've given you a problem, a problem like, okay, we are actually having low income, or we are having low revenue rather, so business is not growing, we don't understand what is happening. All right, so you are like, okay, let's see your data. You get the previous data set of what they have been doing before, and then you analyze it using your different analysis tools, right? From the Power BI, you're using Tableau, or you're using you're using SQL, because let's say they store their data sets there. Okay, so you go through this data set and then you are finding the why. Okay, so I don't understand. Okay, why are you guys doing this thing the way you are doing it, right? From your data set, remember, as a data analyst, what you are doing is you're communicating based off the data. You do not speak what the data did not speak. So that is the interesting part about data analysis, right? You are speaking the language of the data. Okay, so whatever you're recommending is based off what the data is saying. So as a data analyst, you're trying to answer the question, what happened? Okay, you're answering the question of what happened, what actually happened. So based off whatever data set that you have, okay, you are going to go through it and then answer those questions of what actually happened there based off the data set, right? Based off the data set. And the next thing you're going to be answering is, why did it happen? Okay, so those two questions are what you are looking at answering based off the data sets that you actually got. Because from that data, because remember, it's an historical data, it's something that has already happened. So you are using it, you are studying it to understand the trends and patterns, and then you give a recommendation based off that. Okay, so whatever you are saying, whatever thing you're going to be, advising these guys, because you are not like an advisor, right? You're looking at, oh, this is what actually happened. And then I have gone through your data set and I noticed that, oh, it's because of the way you guys are doing things. That is why you are having these results. So based on what I have seen in this data set, okay, you guys are not doing X, Y, Z. So I would recommend that you do X, Y, Z. Now, remember, everything you are doing, you're speaking based off the data. Okay, so those are, like, should I say, the three main things that data analysts do, right? So from gathering and getting your data set, right, down to analyzing and reporting it, okay, and then you are now giving recommendations based off what you have actually said. Okay, so for the project manager, right, the first thing they do there is they're going to define the project scope and objective. So first thing first, they're going to understand, okay, this is what this is actually what we want to do, right? Then the next thing they are going to create the project plan. Okay, there's something called a project plan where these guys are going to be writing what we call the project charter. Okay, so that project charter is what they are going to, should I say, be giving out, and like, okay, based off what you guys have told us, that's the stakeholders now, right, and the business analysis guys, okay, this is the problem that they brought in, this is what we actually want to do based off the project team. They are going to now come up with this project charter that is going to give a full-blown information that, okay, this is the objective of the project, this is the scope, and then they plan out how the project is going to flow in terms of, okay, in week 1 we should be able to achieve XYZ. Okay, in week 2 we should be able to achieve this, because now you remember you have a deadline you are meeting. So it is from this project plan that they are creating is going to now help them to manage everything and ensure that they meet deadlines. The next thing that they do is monitoring the project process and then mitigating risks. So as a project manager, you are on your toes, okay? Because you do not want issues, you do not want the project to fail, you do not want the project to stop halfway. So you are on your toes, and then you are going to be looking at things like 5 meters, 10 meters, 100 meters away, right? Just so that if there are issues, or if there are issues that are supposed to come up, you have foreseen it, and then you have actually started looking for solutions to it. So as a project manager, you will have to be proactive. Okay, you are everybody's matter. You are monitoring, oh, what are you supposed to do? Okay, from our project plan, we're supposed to be in let's say we're supposed to be 20%, completed for this project. Okay, and then this is already, let's say, week 5, and you're supposed to finish this thing like in week 10, right? And then there are a lot of issues, so you are on everybody's toes. You were supposed to do this. What's happening? This matter is actually on your table. You were supposed to clear it out so that the next person starts up. What is the problem? You are monitoring everything from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, everything. And then if there are issues, you will always have to look for a way to a manager. You're managing people, so your people management skill has to be top notch, your communication skill has to be top notch. And then again, people, right, you know very well that you always have, you are going to be issues. So it's now your place to be very proactive, to know and then before it comes up. That is where mitigating risks actually comes in, right? So you know very well the problem is going to happen somewhere. You just ensure that you take it off the way even before delivering the project on time and within the budget. I cannot overemphasize this part. Okay, so it is very, very important. If we're telling naira, ensure that we do not overrun by even the least 1 naira, because that is what shows that, oh, you are actually everything is on budget and the project is completed right on time. Okay, so now what are the key differences of these three different career paths? For the data analyst guys, they are extracting insights. Sorry, give me a minute. They're extracting insights from data for decision making. Now, they are not just doing it for fun, right? They are not just doing it for fun. They are not just doing it for fun. A good decision at the end of the day. So we are telling you, go through this data, tell us what exactly we are supposed to do at the end of the day. And then we are not expecting you to just come up and tell us something from the blues. It has to be related to the data, and then you have to ensure that it is solving a particular problem, right? For the business analysts, guys, they are aligning solutions to the business needs. You have to align whatever we are doing at the end of the day to the business needs. So that is why they are the ones, communicating with the stakeholders. What do you actually need? They're the ones that know the exact thing that the business owners or the stakeholders actually need. At the end of the day, they are going to be aligning it. So we are done with the project. Does it actually meet the needs of these persons? If it does not meet, then we have a problem because we have not actually solved anything. Right now, the project manager is to ensure that they deliver these project objectives. So no matter what it costs, no matter what it's going to cost, as a project manager, you have to ensure that a project objective is delivered. That is why you are actually there. Right now, for the scope, what are they looking at? Right, for data analysis, you're doing data collection, you're doing cleaning, you're doing analyzing, and then you are visualizing it at the end of the day. Right, so you collect this data set, you clean it. There's something we do in data analysis that is called garbage in, garbage out. Okay, so it's the normal saying in data analysis: garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you put in is what you are going to get. That is why data cleaning is 100% very, very, very important, right? Because you have to clean your data. If you are taking in a very raw data, is all messy, and then you want to analyze it, you might end up getting a wrong information, and then you are passing it out. You are already denting your image, because that means whatever you're saying is wrong, right? So for you to make sure that you have accurate information, you have to clean your data before you go over analyzing and then visualizing. Why do you even visualize data? You understand that human beings, most times, we actually connect more when we are seeing pictures. That's the truth. We understand more when we are seeing pictures. Even when we were growing up, that's how we thought, right? Children just like pictures on books. Okay, so if you don't have picture in a book, they're not going to even look at it, right? So it's normal thing for human beings. So when you visualize whatever insight you have gotten, it makes more sense to the stakeholders. And remember, stakeholders don't always have time. That's the truth. They are always very busy. They are always very, very busy. They don't have your time. So if the little time they are giving you to tell them, oh, what you need to tell them, you have to ensure that it is in a smart way. So they can just look at the picture and then they understand what you are communicating. Very, very important, right? Now, for the business analysis, what are the scope? The processes, the requirements, and then the systems. Okay, so you have to understand the process. Very important. Okay, and the next thing is requirement. What is needed? What are the expected things? And then the systems. These are the three scope for business analysis. Now, for project management, we have the time. Very, very important. The cost, the quality, and the scope. Right, so the timing is 100% important. Cost, very, very, very important. You have to ensure everything is on budget. And then the quality, whatever you are giving out, it has to be top notch, right? And then the scope, they have to draw out what is expected from the project, and then the flow of the project from start to finish. Okay, now for interactions, the data analysts are interacting with the business team, they're interacting with the data engineers, and they're interacting with stakeholders. Right, so the business team, everybody involved, from the business analysis telling them, okay, this is the business problem, this is what we want you to solve, to the data engineers, which is the persons giving them the data. These guys are the ones giving out the data set. And then the stakeholders, when they are done with their findings, they have to communicate back to the stakeholders. For the business analysis guys, in communication with the stakeholders back to back, right? Because they are like the middleman between the technical team and then the stakeholders themselves. Now, another people these guys work with is the developers, right? Because whatever information they get from the stakeholders, they're relating it back to the developers. And the next thing is the Q&A team. So after a particular product has been done, right, they have to test it. So the business analyst guys have to be there because they have to ensure that the end product actually meets the business needs. Very, very, very important. For the project managers, they're working with the stakeholders, they're working with the sponsors, and then the project team as a whole. So remember, they are managing everybody, right? So they have to be in communication with everybody that is involved in that project. They will also be in communication with the stakeholders and then the sponsors. So those persons that are actually funding that particular project, these guys they have to work hand in hand with them, right? And then they understand everything that is needed. For the key tools, so for a for a data analyst rather, you have to know how to use SQL, sometimes Python, right? Even if it's not the in-depth part of things, right? But you just have to have a little idea if you want to use it, but it's not always mandatory, right? Then the Tableau, Power BI, and Excel, right? 100% for every data analyst. For business analysis, they look at chart and then the MSV. So all this one is just for them to do the whole chatting, right? Your charts to ensure showing the flows of whatever thing you want to communicate out there. For a project manager, the MS Project, the Jira, and then Trello. These are the like important tools, right, that these guys actually use. Just give me a minute. Erase all. Okay. All right. So you might be wondering, so after I've gotten these skills, right? After you have gotten all these skills, what roles can I work in? What can I actually do? What roles can I actually work on? Right. So as a data analyst, you cannot just work as maybe a data analyst, because I know that some persons that what they're applying for roles, maybe as a data analyst, you just look at just only the roles that are looking for data analysts, and every other thing they ignore it, right? Because they feel, oh, it's not my profession. No, as a data analyst, right, you can work as a data analyst, right? One, you can work as a product analyst, because there are some roles they write product analyst, they don't write data analyst, right? Because you're going to be working majorly with maybe the product data. You can work as a logistic analyst. This is those ones that are working in logistic firms, right? As the analyst for that company, you're analyzing their logistic data. Okay, so you can work as a business intelligence analyst, as a operation analyst, as supply chain analyst. Those ones working in supply chain industry, right? Marketing analyst, procurement analyst, and sales analyst, right? So you can work as any of these roles, because all what you're going to be doing there is you're going to be working with their data set. You're going to be analyzing whatever they have been doing in their business and giving them preferring solutions, or should I say giving them recommendations. Okay, for the business analysis guys, okay, you can work as a business analyst 100%. There are other roles you can work as. Okay, business data analyst, right? So you might be wondering which one is business data analyst. There are some companies that they want you to have the knowledge of both a business analyst and a data analyst, because they expect you to also be able to analyze one or two data sets while you are giving them the other part of business analysis role, which is elicitation and the rest of, right? So you can work as a business data analyst. You can work as a process analyst. Some persons don't call it business analyst, they call it process analyst, because you're going to be analyzing their processes and then preferring solutions to them or giving them advice based off what you have analyzed, right? A functional analyst, you can work as that, as business system analyst, operations analyst, requirement analyst, and the rest of, right? Even change management analyst. So for a agile project manager, you can work as the agile program manager. You can work as a project scrum master consultant, agile project manager, scrum master, scrum team facilitator, the learn agile coach, technical scrum master, as well as a agile coach. Okay, so yeah, that is that for the role. So you can actually work as any of these roles, so far as you have the skill set, all right? So far as you have the skill set and you understand what you are to do. Okay, so another person might be wondering, how do I actually start? How do I actually start? Okay, so you've given us all these infos. Okay, we know what they're supposed to do, but how do I actually start? Okay, so the first thing, you have to learn the fundamental courses. You have to understand each of these things. You have to learn. That's the truth. You have to first of all learn, get the skills, okay? And then the next thing there is to practice. You have gotten your skill, right? You have gone through it. You've done all the necessary learning to practice. Practice makes perfect. Okay, so how do you do this? Volunteer for small projects to gain practical experiences, right? The next thing is for you to intern. Apply and register for internship programs, practical experiences. This one is very, very, very important, right? This is very, very, very important, and this is like one of the reasons why we are here, right? So you have to intern. One thing about you just learning something is, okay, fine, you've learned it, but for you to improve yourself, for you to gain confidence, for you to gain experience, you have to practice, right? And then you have to intern. Okay, so for you to practice, you might just be doing it on your own, maybe just pick up one or two data sets and then you're just working it as a data analyst. For you to intern is actually different, because at that point you are actually going to be brought into a workspace, right? You're actually brought in and you understand, oh, this is how things are done in a workspace. Okay, so internship is very, very, very important. I cannot even overemphasize on that. Okay, so now let's move. Okay, now the big question is, you have learned this, so let me ask first, How many of us have actually learned the skills? You have the skill set. You have the skill set as a data analyst. You have the skill set as a business analyst. You have the skill set as a project manager. Please let me see a one in the chat or a thumbs up. You have learned it already. You know what each of them can do. In short, you have gone through the training. Please let me see a thumbs up. I have gone through the training. I can say that I am a data analyst, or I can say that I am a business analyst, or I can say I am a project manager. Okay, I'm seeing hands raised. Is it for questions, or are you responding to what I'm saying? Okay, so if it's not for questions, you can drop it down, because we're going to be answering questions very, very soon. So I just want to run through, and then we are going to get questions. Okay, so most person might be like, oh, I've learned the skills, I know what to do. But the problem now is these guys are looking for experience, right? I have applied for jobs. Okay, I know a lot of persons that they just finished training and then they just started applying. It's good and fine, right? It's not a bad thing, but recruiters always look for experience, which is something that you cannot just say, oh, let's forget about it, right? So there are a lot of persons that maybe they put up a job role, and then they're saying entry level. Right? They're saying this role is entry level, and then again they're saying you need to have experience. How is it even possible? Right? So how does it connect? So you're saying, oh, this is an entry level role, and then you go for the interview and they're asking you for experience. That is because experience is very, very important. Experience is 100% very, very important, because it is from experience that they are going to know if you are good or not. That's the truth. That is the truth of the matter. So if you do not have experience, you will not be able to do the things you're supposed to do. So let me take, for instance, you cannot compare what somebody that is in the business analysis field for like 10 years. You can't compare what that person can do, right, with the experience of somebody that literally just started, maybe let's say 1 year or 2 years. Is different, because this person has worked on different things. This person has seen a lot. He has learned a lot, and he has relearned, and has unlearned. So you cannot compare those two. So even when people are saying, oh, they need is an entry level role, right? They still need you to have an experience. That is because experience is going to, show your stronger technical skills. When you have experience, your technical skills are going to be top notch. So the more you do, the more you are improving, right? Experience is also going to show a higher quality of work. Okay, when you have a lot of experience, you're going to see that, oh, your quality of work is going to change, right? In short, if you compare, let's say you just finished learning, if you compare what you did in, let's say, your first 1 week or 2 weeks in your learning process, right, and then what you did after. So let's say you went through a training, and then what you did in your capstone project, you cannot compare the quality to what you did in your first week or 2 weeks into that particular problem. It shows you that the more you do, right, the more you are improving the quality of the work. So that is why every recruiter will always need an experience. Even when they're saying, oh, it's an entry-level role, experience is very, very, very important. Another thing that you're going to be able to work more independently, right? That's what experience does. It's going to improve your own, should I say, it's going to improve the way you even see yourself, your confidence level and everything, right? So with experience, we're going to know, oh, can you work on your own or not? Another thing is ability to learn faster on the job, right? So the reason why these guys are looking for experience, even when it's an entry level, is because of this. That's the truth. And then based off research, that is where we got this from. We didn't just sit down and then just bring it up. It's based off research that we have done from different recruiters. So this is what they actually had to say. And we're like, wow, that means we actually need to do something. This is one of the reasons, right, that Amdari was actually better. That's the truth. So why are you still paying for courses, or you're getting certificates when you actually need you need experience? Okay, why do you actually do that? Because now, based off all this, the whole thing that we actually did, right, the research that we did, it showed that applicants with work experience are assumed to have stronger technical skills. Okay, which is what we did the analysis, and then we have to put it in a chart so that you can see. So when you have experience, you are going to be having a stronger technical skill, and then you're going to be producing a higher quality of work. So That is why these guys are really looking for experience. They even if you want to tell them that you've been in the space for like 2-3 years, but let the volume of your work, speak even louder than you say, no, I've been here for like 2-3 years, right? So experience always speaks even louder. Hence why you have to get experience anyhow you want to do it, right? So work experience is the new goal. It is the new goal. We cannot overemphasize it, right? So most entry level roles, they're actually looking for work experience. Nothing like entry level roles again. I have mentioned it earlier, right? So these guys still need experience. They need experience no matter what, right? So if you don't have any experience, you can't even be employed. That's the truth. So no previous experience, you are like shooting yourself in the leg, right? So then for you to be able to even get into a work role, at least you have plus or minus 7% experience, right? But the more your experience, the more you have the chances of getting a job. That is the truth. That is just the truth about it. So when you lack experience, you have a problem. So you see here, entry level candidates are most often told inexperience is the reason they were not hired. Okay, so a lot of persons has gone through the interview stage, and then they are getting unfortunately, and they're like, oh, why am I always getting unfortunately? The reason is because you do not have the experience. You do not have the experience. So these guys cannot trust you with their work because you do not have a lot of experience. You've not been able to show them what you can actually do, right? So it is important that you have experience no matter what happens, right? Because experience is the new goal, just as what we've shown here, right? So most entry level roles require you to have between 1 to 3 years work experience. Now, how are you going to gather this work experience? That is the question. Now, how are you going to gather how and where? Okay, so you need to get this work experience for you to even land your tech job. But how are you going to be able to actually get it? Where are you going to get it? That is where Amdari actually comes in, because Amdari has a program called the Remote Apprenticeship Virtual Experience Program. Is a long word, so we shorten it to REF. This is where REF actually comes to play. REF is the only platform that guarantees you that work experience, right? So you're going to, get the work experience that you are actually looking for in Mr. REF, which is actually in Amdari, right? So how do we actually achieve this? Okay, so you know very well that you have the technical skills 100%, right? The technical skills is needed. Then again, the experience is needed. Okay, that when you have this experience, we couple it up with employability skills, 100% top notch. Okay, and the next thing there is you're going to land your job, right? So what REF does is REF is going to take your technical skills, right, give you the experience, and not just the experience, it's going to help you with the employability skills, which is now going to help you to land that dream job you are actually looking for, right? So you might be wondering, she's speaking a lot, so how is it even possible? How can you actually give us all of this, right? So the way we actually work is we have business partners, right? We have business partners that gives us their unique data challenges. They come to us with whatever issues they have. We as Amdari, what do? We need to take care of the privacy of our consultants. Very, 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 very important, right? So we are going to remove the name of the company because we do not want you going out there and putting it out there, because obviously you are expected to, right? So we changed the name, so based on privacy, and then we are going to now split you into teams to work on these business problems that was given to us by our partners, right? And at the end of the day, see, you're working hand in hand with your mentors. At the end of the day, you are going to present whatever solutions that you have. Very, very important, because we know very well that yes, you have the technical skills. At it, you also need the soft skills, which is where you're going to be presenting. Remember, when I mentioned persons that you're talking with, right, in the 3 different roles, I mentioned it that you're in communication with stakeholders. How do you communicate with stakeholders when your communication skill is not top notch, right? As a data analyst, your storytelling skill has to be top notch, right? So how are you going to improve that if you do not have that experience of speaking or presenting, right? So at the end of the day, after you worked on this project, We bring a representative of the company to come and see what you have actually done with, the business problem that they have. And then you present to them, just so you have that experience that you were looking for. And at the end of the day, you can add this to your portfolio. Very, very important, because it is in your portfolio now that you are going to now use and showcase. Okay, so you have a job interview and they're like, oh, what have you done? Okay, based off this, tell me a time where you use, let's say, Power BI to solve a particular problem. Well, you are going to actually speak and then you are going to show it. Okay, so your portfolio is what is going to speak for you. So at the end of the day, after working on this, you can put it on your portfolio, and then you can also put it on your LinkedIn, right? And then at the end of the day, after you've added this, right, you add this to your LinkedIn, you add it to your portfolio, we can still give you a work reference on demand, right? So everything is just well packaged to ensure that you get that job that you are actually looking for, right? So now, the beautiful thing about Amdari is we have a slogan, which is, right, rebranding. And for you to actually achieve this rebranding, remember, you want to get a job. That's the main essence. You are trying to get an experience so that you can get a job. And what's this job now? We are calling it the rebranding, right? And then again, how do we do this? Your project-based experience is one of it, right? Where you're going to be working on projects on different industry experience. We're not just focusing on just one aspect. You're going to be working across different industry experiences, right? From supply chain to e-commerce, HR, and the rest of. So you're going to have a like diverse experiences from these different industries, right? And at the end of the day, we are still going to do the employability skills. Now, some persons have the skill. Some persons, they have the skill, they have the experience, but they do not know how to sell themselves, right? So you can see somebody's CV and you are like, oh my God, where did this person bring this out from, right? So many persons, they have the skills, they have the experience, but they cannot sell themselves. Their CV is something else. If you go through their LinkedIn, is something else. Forgetting that every recruiter, right, they go through your LinkedIn. In short, there are some roles now that when you want to apply, there's a place where you put in your LinkedIn profile link, because I want to go through it. That's the truth, right? So you have to be able to, ensure that your LinkedIn is top notch, which is what Amdari is actually going to be offering you, right? So we are going to revamp your CV, because for you to land that job, for you to even get into the interview phase, right, you have to pass the ATS phase, where they're passing your CV. There's some person that their CV is something else, and then it doesn't even pass that stage. You don't even pass the stage of them calling you for an interview, and you're just wondering, well, I've been applying, I've been doing like 10 applications, and they're not even getting any interview. Have you checked your CV? Something is wrong somewhere with your CV. So first thing first, we have to go through that, and then you're going to have a one-on-one CV revamp and review session, because we want to ensure that your CV is proper. Okay, it is okay to even pass the ATS stage for you to even get the interview. The next thing, we're going to be optimizing your LinkedIn. There's some person that their LinkedIn profile is something else. So for you to actually, get that job, your LinkedIn has to be top notch. One situation that maybe if somebody is going through LinkedIn and wants to employ, and then let's say the person is looking for a data analyst on LinkedIn, immediately the person types data analyst, your profile can come up as maybe the top 2 or the top 3 or top 10, depending on the presence in that particular space. So it is important that your LinkedIn is actually optimized, which is what we are going to be helping you with here at Amdari, right? The next thing is the one-on-one mentorship. Okay, you have a one-on-one mentorship, you have a career coaching, then interview preparations. When you get the interview, go, we are still going to prepare you. So you see that we are not leaving you halfway. We have to ensure that you get the experience and then you land the job that you need. Then after the interview prep, we still give job references. So you request for a job reference. Let's say you've gotten the job and then you need a reference. We are also here for you. Okay, and then not just that. Okay, so we have what we call the job board on Amdari platform, right, where you are going to get the different job opportunities, right? So when you sign up to Amdari, we add it to the platform, right, where you are going to now get different job opportunities. So we don't want you to go through that stress of going over to LinkedIn and looking for job, going over to Upwork, and then searching by yourself. So it is actually included in the the Amdari job board already. So all you just have to do when you sign up to the Amdari job board, and then you've gotten into our program, okay, you have that access. So immediately you open your job board, you're going to see different job roles. All you just need to do is click on it, depending on the program you're going for. If it's for data analysis, okay, you are going to see job roles relating to data analysis. If it's a business analysis, you're going to see that relating to whatever role that you have. So you see that, and that is actually that one-stop shop. It's a one-stop shop for you, so that we make life a bit easy for you, right? So you might be wondering, how can I actually join? Okay, what can I do to actually join this beautiful, amazing platform? Okay, so we have our next cohort that is actually starting on the 8th of March, as well as if you can't join the 8th of March, then you can actually join the 12th of March. But before you join this, you have to actually you must have secured your spot. Okay, so let me just quickly walk us through one of the projects that our current interns are actually working on. Just give me a minute. Let me just share that screen so you actually see what one of the projects actually that the business analysis guys are currently working on. Okay, so these guys they're actually working for one of our client companies, right? So they have a business. This is the February guys. They just started, literally just started like some weekend. So this is the project that they're going to be working on. Let me open it so we see what we are actually working on. Okay, so we get these business problems, just as I mentioned earlier. Let me see. Okay. So they are working for the Mefe e-commerce, right, platform. We want to actually create a platform, right, for this particular company. They want us to work on an e-commerce platform, of which, since we have capable consultants, right, we call our interns consultants. Okay, so we have this beautiful consultant that are going to be working on this project. Now, this project is actually a broad one, where we have the business analysts working on it, we have the project managers, and then we have the data analysis guys, the data science guys, as well as the data engineering guys working on this particular project. Now, this is the executive overview of the project. So this guys is the Mefe is a fast-growing e-commerce setup that wants to expand his operations, right? So they have been recognized for their innovative strategies in digital commerce. Yeah. The company has secured funding to ensure its online shopping experience. Having secured funding for its initiative, they aim to solidify its market position by enhancing both their workforce management and the customer purchase and engagement through data-driven insights. So now they want to create a new platform, right, where they want their customers to browse products, make purchase, and then submit a review, right? So now the overview of what these guys want to do is they want to create a platform for the Mefe where their customers can log into that platform. After buying whatever you want to buy, you are going to now drop a review, because they want to use this review that they get to see, how are the customers, are they satisfied with whatever they are getting or not. The usual way when you buy something from Jumia and then you leave a comment. It's the same thing. Now, since these guys you want to actually understand how the e-commerce space is. So firstly, our data engineers are going to web scrape from any e-commerce site, right? They web scrape reviews from the e-commerce site. After that, they give it to the data analysis guys and the data science guys. They are going to now analyze it, and the data science guys will come up with a sentiment analysis model, so that we are going to now deploy that model, right, that is created into our new website, so that if anybody now feels any review, from the website, we can see from back end if it's a positive review or a negative review. So based off the model that the data science guys are going to be classifying for us, when we deploy it, if anybody puts a review, no need for us to now go and start reading through, is it negative or is it positive? Just based off that model that was deployed, we can see that, it is positive or it is negative, right? So this is like an overview of what these guys are going to be working on, right? So this is for the February guys that literally just started. Okay, so it's actually an amazing project, and this project is going to last them plus or minus like 4 to 8 weeks, right, depending on how fast that they can actually finish up. And yeah, they are not going to, just work on their own. We have developers, right, that actually, we have developers that are actually going to be working with them. So they're working with the developer as well as the UI UX guy to actually ensure that that is a success for our team. Okay, so let me go back to my screen. Okay, so that's like an example of what our project actually looks like. So when you're joining, you know that your hands are going to be all dirty because we are going to be giving you a lot of experiences that you need. Okay, and so for our next cohort that is starting by March, right, on the 8th of March. So for you to secure your spot, right, normally we have a full fee of $400 but we are running a discount, which is just for the first 20%, just as I showed here, first 20%. Okay, so for you to save $100, a whole $100, right, you just have to secure your spot, right? You secure your spot, and then you pay a whole sum of 300, just $300, right, just so that you save the $100. But after the first 20% have paid up, you're going to be paying $400. Okay, so it's just for the first 20%, and this is for the 3-month experience. Okay, so we have the 3 months and the 6-month experience. So if you need a longer time, there are persons that are like, oh, I need a longer time to get my hands dirty and get the experience that I need, right? So you can go for the 6 months, but we have a 3 months, so we have to split it because there are some persons that are like, oh, I just need a short experience. I have some experience already, I just need something to top up, and then I just need to rebrand myself in just that short time. So that is what we have for the 3 months, right? And then we have for the 6 months. For the 6 months, is $700, right? But since we're running a discount, you can pay $500, saving yourself $200. And we have this in different installments. We have multiple installments for you. So when you pay this amount, what are the things that you are actually going to be getting? Number one is the CV review and revamp session that I mentioned earlier. The next one is our LinkedIn optimization. You have access to an exclusive remote job board. Then you have an online portfolio builder. Then you have an international work reference letter. So when you get a job and then they need a reference, all you have to do is just request from us, and we are going to do that for you. All this is in the package of this $400 that you're going to pay, and then you are paying for the discount $300, right? So you have access to all of this, and then you have a career coaching session. So we don't just allow you to sweat on your own or just float on your own. No, you have that coach that is always working with you one-on-one, and then you ensure that you get the experience that you're looking for, and then you get the job done, right? So we have multiple installments available. So all you just have to do is click on the link that my colleagues are dropping on the chat for you to actually register. Just give me a minute. Let me show us how the registration looks like. So I know we always have a lot of persons that might have issues with that. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, so let me just open up. So immediately you click on this the payment link. It's going to open up the payment platform. Okay, let me see. Let's just give that time to load. I don't know why this. I think that's a bit slow for my network. Let's just give that time to load. Right. So immediately you click on the link. When it opens up, you select your career path as well as the number of installments or whatever you want to pay in. I don't know why. I think my network is lagging. Just give me a minute. Okay, I don't know why my network is a bit slow on that. But immediately you click on the link, it's going to open up. Immediately you click on the link here, right? It's going to open up the main stack link, and then You select the program that you want to pay for, whether it's 3 months or whether it's 6 months. First, you have to decide how long do I want, to do this. If it's for 3 months, you select on the 3 months program. If for 6 months, you select on it, and then you make your first payment. So for the 3 months, you have a three installment. If you are going for 3 months, you have a three installment. So you pay the initial payment to secure your spot, right? Because the discount is limited just for 20%. So you click on the link on my screen, all right, and then you select the program you want. If it's 2 months, if it's 3 months rather, or if it is 6 months, then you make your first payment to secure. So for the 6 months payment, you have a 5 month installment payment, right? So you have five full installment payment. So we are trying to be a bit considerate because we know the way things are, right? So just so that you're a bit relieved, and it's not really big on you, because we know very well the experience is 100% important, right? We know very well it's very important for you to get the experience, right? So you just click on that and you make your initial deposits, just so that you secure your discount space, right? Okay, so I don't know. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Because this is where we are running up. Do we have questions? Do we have any questions? Let's take it. So if you have any questions, you can actually drop it on the chat, so we can just go through it together. And please, if you're yet to fill the attendance form, please try as much as you can to do that, so you get this material, the slide, as well as the recording of this session. Is 100% very, very, very important. Okay, so do you have questions? Those ones that their hands are raised, is it a question for me? Let me see. Edmond, Ring, do you have a question? Was your hand raised for a question, or you can unmute and let's hear you out? Okay, let me see. Edmond, I think Edmond's hand is dropped. Okay, Paul, your hand is still raised. Is it for a question? Do you have a question for us? So please, guys, while we are taking questions, click on the link that my colleague is dropping on the screen, and ensure you secure your spot for the first 20%, because after that we are not going to be getting $300 again. That's for the 3 months, and then 500 for the 6 months. It's now going to be 400 and 700 respectively. Okay, so Paul, do you have a question? Your hand is raised. Ade, do you have a question? Because your hands are raised, because it's time for us to take questions. Do you offer training for project management? Okay, no, we do not offer training. So Amdari platform is not for training, right? So just as I mentioned earlier, we are just here to bridge, that gap between the theoretical knowledge and then you having the experience. So what Amdari is actually looking at is giving you that experience, which is through our ref program. That is giving you that virtual internship experience. We do not do training. Okay, we do not do training. Okay, Paul, your hand is raised. Can you unmute yourself? Let's hear you out. Hello, Paul. Paul, are you still there? Your hand is still raised, though. I don't know. You can drop your question in the chat if you can't actually speak. So let me hear from Ayo, or Kayo rather. Kayode, your hand is still raised. Can you unmute? Let's hear you, or you can drop your question in the chat. Okay, so I don't know. I'm still waiting for Kayo. Kayo, can you drop your question in the chat, or you just unmute yourself? Let's hear you out. Okay, do you offer training on data science? Okay, same question like what I did ask. Amdari do not offer trainings, right? Amdari do not offer trainings. What we do is we are giving you that experience, which is just you getting your hands dirty and getting the project done, right? So for you to come into Amdari, that means you have the skill, you know what you want to do, right? So you You know how to analyze your data. You have the soft skill, the skills already. What you want to do is just get the experience. So that is when you come into Amdari, right? Amdari we don't do trainings. Okay, we do not train. I don't know. I think Kaya, did you get that? Kaya, did you get that? Okay, I want to believe so. So any other question? Do we have any other question? Okay, guys, so try as much as you can. Yeah, click on the link. Ensure that you have registered. Sorry, you fill the attendance form. Very, very important. And then again, for payment, click on the main start link and select the course in which you want to actually pay for. If it's 3 months or it's 6 months. So for 3 months we have an installmental payment that you can do for three times, right? So you do the initial payment and then you pay the other ones after, right? So you have 3 installmental payments. Well, for the 6 months you have 5 installmental payments. So don't feel, oh, you're going to pay all the money at once. We have multiple installments available, just so that it makes the work a bit easier for you. Okay. All right, guys. This is where we are going to be calling it a night. So please, I'm iterating it again. Ensure that you have actually filled the attendance form. Ensure you have filled it so that you can get these materials as well as the recording. Okay, so this is what we'll call it a night. Have a lovely